Hey, I may not have mentioned this in the video, as my on-camera persona tends to be pretty calm and collected, as I like these videos to have more of a chill, sort of relaxed vibe. But this whole project has been a ton of just suffering and pain and struggling and agony to get this everything up and running and working. It's been a lot of time getting this whole thing working. So if you think, yeah, I'm gonna create my own custom mobs, my one piece of advice is make sure you have a ton of time on your hands. I have time on my hands because I'm on vacation, or I'm on like break. But if you don't have a ton of time on your hands, you may not want to attempt this unless you really want to spend like a month of your life working on this. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. This was most likely a mistake. Do you ever have an idea that's just so silly and stupid you actually want to try it out? Hello everyone, and that was me today. I had the idea earlier today of like, you know, Minecraft needs more content, even though we've recently, within like the last year, gotten 3 major updates that have completely changed everything in the game and added hundreds of new, actually no, probably not hundreds, but many new blocks and biomes and features and mobs. Minecraft needs more content, and I'm going to be the one responsible and held guilty for this abomination that's going to be the rest of this video. Anyway, so yeah, I decided that I wanted to create my own content, and specifically my own mobs for the game, because I've always just really wanted to create my own mobs, even though I have quite a long history with art, but I have no experience with computer programming and like anything of technical of that nature. I like computer hardware, but not like software. I have never really been like gotten into that stuff, so yeah, this will be a fun learning curve, I think. And keep in mind, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I've done some prior research as to like what programs I should be using and things, and so I'm going to be using a software called Blockbench for all of my 3D modeling, and a couple plugins for this server that I created just for this. I'm in F1, but I created a test server, and that's what I'm in right now. So before we move on, this video has cost me tons of money to make, so if you would be so kind as to hit the like button and subscribe, it would help the channel out a ton, it would help me out a ton, and it would help the algorithm just find my channel and recommend me to a ton more people, and it would really overall boost the whole content quality experience if we can really help the channel grow and do everything we can to make the channel experience better. So it helps you, it helps me, helps everyone. Thanks. I love you all. On with the video. So yeah, I just realized going into a project that requires countless hours of code and 3D modeling and 3D spaces and just a lot of technical knowledge without having any prior experience with those things probably isn't the best of ideas, but it's idea time. It's time for me to think of and look on like the internet for ideas of what I want to add to Minecraft. I just like go on the internet and look up fantasy creature is probably what I'm going to do. Let's see what that comes up with. So, tip, when you search up fantasy creature and you get to the point where it says the show more results button, do not click that button. That button does bad things. Do not click the show more results button for fantasy creatures. I've seen enough today. So we're going to be making, even though Minecraft a couple months ago, or, oh my god, that was like 7 months ago. What in the world? Where did okay, like 7 months ago, Minecraft got an update for all the caves that completely revamped caves, and just like it's Wednesdays, so 8 days ago. My god, my maths are off today. So 8 days ago, Minecraft got an update that added a new boss mob to caves and a new biome to caves and new enemies. Yeah, all that kind of stuff to caves. We're gonna make a new cave monster, but this cave monster, I hope, will spawn in like the regular caves, not just the deep dark, just kind of everywhere except the deep dark. So the dripstone caves, not amethyst, just yeah, that kind of area. So he'll kind of spawn everywhere, in all the normal caves, that kind of stuff, and he'll be like a big sort of stone style golem, but with like, it just sort of looks like this stone, like the rocks of the cave came out of the cave and became animated. So like rock go whoop, out of the cave wall and becomes like an animated object and that kind of stuff. So it's like a golem, kind of like a golem in a lot of folklore and stuff. And I kind of have an idea of what I want to do with this, because I used to be really into like mythology and stuff like that. So I when I was like a kid, because I read a lot of the D&D books and stuff from like the 70s, so I kind of know what I want to do with this creature. So I think what I'm gonna do is open up Blockbench and hope that I don't like just severely mess something up and make it so this model like completely doesn't animate well or something. And I'm just gonna create a 3D model of what I want this creature to look like and hope that, again, it doesn't look horrendous. And if it does, I'm just gonna keep working on it until it doesn't look horrendous, because that's never ended horribly. Like a 2-month break in uploading. That's never happened before because of wanting to perfect a video. No. Alright, so I've started work on the face, and I actually think it's going to look quite menacing once it's completed, but essentially what I'm doing here is I'm going to have the body start right here, so the head's going to be, so he's going to look like kind of a hunchback, sort of, and this is the jaw, and I think this is one of my favorite parts of Blockbench, is just being able to do this. Like, look at this, it looks so funny, and yeah, if you're wondering how I did this, it's just some fancy work with the pivot point. You just move it, and that just makes it so that it's the jaw, and then if you want this to be considered the head, so when the golem's walking around, it'll look at you, just type H underscore head, and then for jaw, I think it's H underscore jaw. You'll have to correct me on that if I'm wrong. Please look it up. Don't like take my word fully. Just look it up if you're unsure, because I don't want to mess up your models if that's incorrect. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep working on this and hope that it doesn't look atrocious once I'm done. Alright, so I've been working on the upper body here, and I actually think this whole thing looks really nice so far. I don't know, I think he has a lot of expression so far, even though he's just a bunch of, like, a big jumble of colors with some shoulders and a sort of upper body area, but I think he looks really cool, and he just has a lot of personality. Got like a hunchback feel, which I think is really cool for like a really heavy golem. It's been like carved out of rock. Probably gonna have a hunchback and got these big bulky shoulders. And a cool thing that you can do actually is, if you want to make it look like there's, like, you know, he's made out of rocks, is you can sort of make these 2x2 cubes, or 3x3. We'll do a 3x2, I guess. Then you can just move them around the world. Hold on, let me just get this up here, and you can kind of rotate them. So if you go R, press R, you just hold on, let me move the rotation point really quick. And so you can actually kind of rotate these little like rock looking things here, and I'm just gonna put this in the body category right here, and it sort of makes it look like he's got little rocks sticking out of him. And I might like color those, maybe if they're bigger and like more pointy, I could color those a different color to make them look like crystals or something. And right here, this just looks kind of like a pebble, or like a little crack, or, you know, like just a break maybe sticking out or something. So yeah, it's a cool little detail you can add, and it adds a lot of shape, especially in the head region. I think I'm going to add a lot of these to sort of make the transition between the head and the body a lot smoother. So I think I'm just going to work on the rest of this really quickly, because it's a fairly simple model here, and then we'll work on texturing, which is going to be the hard part, because yeah, texturing is quite difficult in Blockbench, to say the least. Okay, so I have been working on this arm now for probably a solid 30 minutes, and this hand has got to be one of my favorite yet least favorite things I've ever created, because it looks like a box with another box next to it, but when you really take a look at it, it's like, whoa, it is a hand. And that looks like it could grip something, you know. It's like it's a real hand in Minecraft, which I really am quite proud of, because, you know, Minecraft is quite limiting, so when you're able to do something like that, it's quite rewarding. So, but now I gotta completely mirror all of that on the other side and begin working on the other arm. And this does have a joint, I think. Yes. Okay, cool. And so yeah, now we have 2 joints, and so yeah, I'm just excited to be able to do stuff like this, like where I can take the arm. Obviously that's not what it's gonna look like when it's done, but I can take the arm and just bend it around. It looks so cool already. Alright, so I finished our boy, the stone golem's upper body, and I have painstakingly, meticulously added all of these little like crystals and stones on top of him, and oh my god, it has taken hours to make this upper body. Oh my god. I mean, I know I mean, this is my first time ever using this program, but oh my god, it has taken hours and so many tutorials. Holy cow. But I think this guy looks really cool, and yeah, I'm very proud of how this guy looks. So now I'm just going to work on the legs, and this should be simple. compared to what I've gone through with this, because all the rotation, moving all the pivot points for all these little crystals. But I can't wait to like color these in and texture them, because I want to give like the bigger ones like blue textures and the smaller ones like little rock textures. This should look awesome once we're done with them. Alright, I am now finally finished with our rock dude, and I am thinking this guy looks absolutely fantastic. I think there's just something about having just this big bulky creature, which I did actually have to narrow him a bit, since I thought the gaps between the torso and the arms were just kind of weird. So I did narrow the body a little bit, but I still think he looks absolutely enormous and just super bulky, and like he's blast resistant almost. I don't know, that would be a cool trait actually, but yeah, maybe. we'll see about that later. But yeah, this is going to be a nightmare to texture, though, because all of these faces are going to be crazy to just texture and detail. So, yeah, I'm going to have fun with that right now. So, yeah, wish me luck. Alright, so I've gotten a basic coat of paint on this guy, and I've started adding details like some runes on his body, and obviously started coloring in the crystals right here. And I really think the texturing on the crystals looks nice, and I also think just this sort of like base color for the body is kind of neat looking. I may eventually change it, but I think right now it looks really nice. And so I'm just going to add some details, obviously some textures to the body to add a little bit of again, like variance and just a little bit of contrast, and it should look really nice. Okay folks, so I finally finished texturing this guy. Whoa, what happened there? There, and then like bit more texture, I guess. Alright, so I finally finished texturing this guy, and I really think he looks awesome now. What I did with the texturing is I actually added a gradient and lowered the opacity, and as you can see, it adds like a very faint, almost stone looking texture to most of the model, and it really just, you can kind of see it, you can kind of perceive it without even seeing it. At least for me, that's the case. So, you know, it kind of just, it looks almost like noise in the background, which I think is really nice, and it also alters all of the colors. And then what I did is I did a light gray right here and sort of a dark bluish gray right here, and so parts of the model are like a blue, or like more blue, and parts of them are just a little bit lighter, like a lot of the back is a lot lighter. So yeah, I think that turned out really well, and now it's time for one of the most difficult yet most fun parts of the process, which is animating the character. So what you do is go over here, and it's like keyframe based, kind of like replay mod. So at least for me, it shouldn't be too challenging. So yeah, I'm gonna get on with animating, and we'll just do a couple progress updates. Alright, so I've just gotten a very simple sort of punch animation set up for this guy, and I think it looks really cool. Yeah, it's quite, it definitely, whoa, what is going on there? At the beginning, it should be forward. Okay, there we go, I just updated it, so when it plays now, yeah, there you go. It looks slightly unnatural from the side, but from the front, where you're mainly going to be seeing it, I think it looks pretty natural, and it definitely looks like he's punching you. So yeah, because presumably you're going to be right there. Anyway, yeah, so now I need to work on sort of a, I don't even know how you describe it, like an idle animation, I guess. So yeah, that's the next thing I need to work on. And so I'm actually just going to alter this guy a little bit, because I haven't been able to get a successful walk animation for like the last probably good hour and a half of trying. I think I'm just going to make his legs slightly more short and stubby, so I don't have to insert knees into the mix, because knees always really suck when it comes to walk animations, which is why a lot of Minecraft mobs, or I think all Minecraft mobs, do not have knees. Okay, yeah, this is a lot easier to work with, and I actually think it adds to the aesthetic. It makes him look a lot like bigger in the arms and stuff, which definitely makes him look a lot stronger, even though it does make him look shorter, because he is now. He's quite a bit shorter. I think he's still a little bit taller than a Minecraft player, which is just my goal. Alright, I finally finished animating our first mob, the like stone and crystal golem, and I think he looks really cool. This is the idle animation, by the way. This is the walk animation, which I think looks really nice. Yeah, I just think this sort of, obviously it'll look better when it's in game, because the ground will be less sort of strange looking and he'll actually be moving. And this is the, this is the punch animation, which I think looks really nice. Like, I don't know, it just looks really natural. It looks as natural as a sort of custom animation can look. So yeah, obviously you're not going to see the full timeline here with all the things, but yeah. And if you're wondering why the eyes are really like very dark, it's because I turned down the opacity, because I believe when you turn down the opacity of a layer in Blockbench, in game it is like kind of bright and glowing. So yeah, I kind of want this guy to glow in the dark. So yeah, it's kind of my goal here. So yeah, the next thing I need to do is just write out like many lines of code in just the server file manager, and then we'll start to get this guy going in Minecraft, and we'll by that time he'll actually be finished getting going in Minecraft, because that's the code actually is. It's like the way you get them into the game is through like server plugins, and it's all through the file directory of your server, which is kind of cool. All right, folks, so I finally implemented our stone beast monster into the game. That's just kind of what I've named him. Well, there are some things that are messed up still, but for the most part I think he looks really cool, and I still have yet to program in a lot of more advanced features, or just features that aren't AI and like walking around, like for example attacks and stuff. I still have yet to program that in. So that's the next step, is going to be adding a lot of what are called skills, which also include all the animations and of course the walking animation, which does not exist right now. So yeah, I'm gonna go do that, and it's quite a complicated process. So yeah, wish me luck. All right, folks, so I finally finished animating the Stone Beast mob and got all those animations in the game, and I think he looks really cool. There's a little bit of Z fighting in some places, like right there with that little bit right there, but I think in the future with our next mob, I'm going to try to counteract that by just making the model a bit more sophisticated and actually doing my math right. So yeah, I think this guy looks really cool, and he actually has a ton of animation to him, which I really like. You know, got the walking animation. He actually, hold on, if I spawn another one in, if I just do spawn mob stone beast, they actually have an idle animation as well, which will play if they're standing still. But these guys seem to not want to stand still. So yeah, and this is, I actually have resistance on right now. I have resistance 5, which pretty much means I can't take damage, but it's actually doing 30 hearts of damage. So unless you're wearing full diamond armor, these guys will one-shot you, which is a pretty overpowered mob. But you have to think about it this way: they are they're over a ton of stone in my eyes. So yeah, it would make sense that they would do a ton of damage. So no pun intended. So yeah, they do a ton of damage, and they're very slow, so they're easy to outrun, but they will instantly attack you if you hit them. They're sort of like iron golems, and they'll actually attack any sort of they'll actually attack the same mobs that iron golems attack, which is nice if you if you don't anger them, or yeah, if you don't anger them, they'll actually be sort of like mob proofing in your base, which is kind of cool too. And I think they really look awesome. Their jaw's a bit messed up, but that's just the plugins that I'm using right now are kind of finicky. So yeah, it's kind of hard to get everything working. But yeah, now I think it's time to work on the next mob. Alright, so I think I finally had a good idea for our next mob. I kind of want to create like a little half-height sort of bandit kind of dude. Maybe he'll spawn in like packs, maybe he'll be like a little thief, something like that. And yeah, it's just kind of like a cool idea that I had, and it just sort of adds lore to the world. Like, oh, there's this whole there's like a whole nother species of sort of like humanoid little creatures, and I kind of want to make them look sort of like villagers. I really like villager noses, which is why the last guy, the stone beast, also had villager nose. So yeah, I'll probably give this guy a villager nose. But yeah, I think this is a pretty cool idea, and I'm also really tired of reading the D&D books, all like the D&D monster guides and stuff for inspiration. Yeah, those 1977 books though, awesome illustrations, and they're fantastic. 100% recommend them if you need inspiration for stuff like this. They are fantastic books. I love them. Alright, so I've gotten some sort of torso figured out, and I think it looks kind of cool to have this backpack here. So now I'm just going to texture this whole guy. It's pretty simple. Got joints right here for the arms so they can bend. Actually, well, technically it's here, it's the bone. So yeah, I think that looks pretty nice. Obviously they can't bend backwards, but yeah, I think that looks pretty nice. And then you have the I was about to say you have a joint for the nose. No, you do not have a joint for the nose. But yeah, there's joints in a lot of places. Not for the legs though, because I hate doing walking animations with joints. So yeah, that's not something I was gonna do in this. So yeah. So yeah, now it's time to animate this guy and paint him. But first, painting. Alright, so I'm now finally done modeling our halfling type dude, our bandit, and I think he looks really cool. I plan on making this a backpack sort of thing, like a back mounted pack. A backpack. And yeah, I think it looks really nice. I may make it slightly wider, like in the Z direction, so like just sort of like slide it over a bit. But for the most part, I think it looks really nice. And so now it's time to start painting. This is definitely the most tedious process aside from rotation or pivot points, because man, pivot points actually suck. But yeah, it's time to start texturing, I guess. But hey, it's also the most fun because, well, I do a lot of art, so like, yeah, it's I guess you could say it's kind of something that I tend to do quite a bit. And I guess halfling isn't really the right description for this guy because he's only 10 pixels shorter than the player. I mean, that's quite a large difference because like he's like a little bit more than a head shorter than a player. So yeah, it's quite a big difference, but still, it's only 10 pixels, so he's not really a halfling. He's like a hobbit. I think hobbits are like just about a head shorter than no, they're called halflings in the book. So yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, never mind. This guy's just a small. This I don't even know what species this guy is, but he looks cool, and that's all that matters. Okay, so let's get texturing. So I discovered this just recently. I think I may leave it here just like this. The nose is right here, right? His like nose, and I think I may make the nose like an independent bone structure inside the head, so that it can like flap around while he's walking, so you can see this. This is just a mistake because the nose was like covering up part of the mouth texture, but I think I may leave it here just because I think it's super funny. What is going on? Just give me the right color. What was it? It was this, right? Whatever. That looks fine. Yeah, I think I may leave it there because I think it just looks hilarious to just have this little mouth underneath there. I don't know if I'm gonna make it an independent bone, but it's a funny Easter egg anyway for anyone who like wants to look through the texture files underneath this video. But with that, I think I'm actually finished texturing. I think this guy looks pretty nice. I think the backpack could do with a little bit more work, but I'm tired and don't want to put in any extra work. Oh wait, should I have to do the collar really quick? All right, I am finally finished. And with that, I actually think I'm finished texturing. So yeah, I'm not still super good with pixels in art, so my textures could be better, but I'm tired and don't want to put in any extra work. So just gonna leave it like that. I still think that's really funny. But yeah, I think it's time to move on to animation, and it should be really easy because I really want to just kind of animate it like a regular Minecraft mob. So yeah, it should be pretty fun, and should be fairly simple to animate too because he's such a blocky character, unlike the other character who had a bunch of like spikes and stuff that I had to move around once I realized they were like attached to different objects. It was a whole nightmare. I didn't really record it because this video is already probably way too long. I don't really pay attention to that kind of stuff, but yeah, I'd assume it's probably way too long at this point. You know, animating very simple characters like this kind of, I don't even know what he is. He looks like an elf. That's what he looks like. He looks like he looks like an elf from Lord of the Rings. Anyway, animating very simple characters like this, so easy. I mean, look at this walk animation. It's so easy to make a walk animation look good. I mean, it looks so clean and just simple. And because he doesn't have a jaw, you don't need to animate a breathing pattern. I mean, even for this, look at this idle animation. I mean, it actually looks like he's breathing because he has such a simplistic character model. I love it. Alright folks, so I'm finally done with all of the animations, and I think these all came out very smooth. I mean, look at this. Look at this idle animation. I mean, it just looks like he's breathing. Just standing there breathing. The slight chest movements. Just everything looks really nice there. Got the, got the walk animation. Looks like he's walking. Kind of fast too, which is nice because, you know, he's supposed to be kind of a fast mob. And then here we got the attack animation, and I'm probably going to give him some sort of sword, probably an iron sword. So yeah, this will be like a stab animation. So yeah, I think he looks really cool. And now it's finally time to import him into the game using Model Engine and the Mythic Mobs plugin. Alright, so essentially what I'm going to do is take all of the code from the Stone Beast mob and just copy it and paste it into a new YML file, and then just kind of like redo some of the skills. So yeah, that should make this a lot easier on me for like all the coding and stuff, because it takes quite a while to get all this stuff down. All right, folks, it's been about a week of work and procrastination, and our mobs are finally complete. Here is the halfling. I don't really have a lot of just special things set up for him. I couldn't, because it's a custom model, I couldn't get like items working because yeah, it was just being weird. So yeah, unfortunately there's no custom items or anything for him. There's not even like a sword because again, like custom model. But yeah, I still think he looks really cool. He looks like a halfling. And if I just open up his cage really quick, or just spawn one in rather, just like that, and then go into survival mode, as you can see, it will so yeah, so I attempted to spawn one in, and it didn't really go too well. Apparently, he's pulling from the Stone Beast skill set, but I don't really want to fix it at this point. I want this video to come out sometime soon, and I'm too tired of working on this right now. But if you really want me to make a Fallout video for this one, and just sort of perfect these mobs, and maybe even create a couple more, since now I'm much better at it than I was when I started, leave a like and subscribe, and or subscribe if you aren't, and just tell me that you want another one down in the comment section, because I kind of enjoyed doing this. I actually really enjoyed doing this, some parts of it, but some parts were definitely pain, but now I'm getting better. So yeah, maybe it'll be fun to do another one. And I sort of imagine the halfling to sort of spawn in the dark places of the world, waiting for the big folk to come by, and then he'd, stab them with his knife or its sword. And right now, again, because it's a custom model, I can't get the sword on, but yeah, it's kind of my sort of ideas. He'd sort of like try to attack you and then steal your stuff, put it in his backpack, and run away. Sort of like what a lot of people like goblins in games like that. Have like a lot of fantasy games will have like goblins that kind of come out and attack you in like herds, and they'll take all your stuff, take all your gold and stuff. And here we have the mighty stone beast. He's like an iron golem of the caves, very powerful, does 30 damage with his punch attack. And yeah, I just imagine this guy sort of spawning in the more stone-based caves, not the more deep stone-based, not the more deep slate-based caves. And yeah, I'm really proud of how this guy looked. Actually, more proud than how the halfling looked. I just think this guy looks really cool and really powerful. If we kind of come in here, yeah, you can definitely see this guy is very large and very powerful. So yeah, this guy's definitely my favorite of the two mobs. And so yeah, I want to create more like mini bosses, whereas the halfling is more of just a little sort of environmental thing. But I'm very proud of how all the animations came out. I mean, look at these idle animations. They all look really realistic, and they actually look like they're breathing. The halfling's walk animation is kind of funny though, because it's actually slower than his movement speed. So yeah, I think that's kind of funny. I mean, this guy zips around. This guy is like Lightning McQueen on steroids. This guy's insane. So yeah, kind of crazy. But yeah, this has been a really fun project and a really crazy learning curve. So yeah, if you guys want a follow-up video to this one, just toss a like and a subscribe and leave a comment down below. But I think it's time to wrap up the video. So as always, my name has been Void Doctor. Please like, subscribe, and share if you did enjoy the video and feel inclined to do so. And I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye for now.